Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Have you ever found yourself wondering why some people seem to pick up English so much faster than others? Or why some days just starting to practice feels like climbing a mountain? It's a, it's a common challenge, right, for so many of us on a language journey.
It absolutely is, yeah. And what I consistently highlight is that the perceived secret, well, it isn't really about raw talent or, endless hours of study. It points to a singular, incredibly powerful key to success:
Consistency.
consistency.
Huh.
That sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Doing something regularly every day or often, even when it's hard or you don't feel like it. It's not about those grand gestures. It's more about just showing up.
Precisely, yeah. And the truly empowering news, as our material emphasizes, is that this isn't some innate gift. Anyone can cultivate consistency. It doesn't demand marathon study sessions. It thrives on small, regular steps. These seemingly minor actions, well, they accumulate into really monumental progress over time. Okay, so if you're listening, wondering how to make English learning actually stick, you're definitely in the right place. Today we're going to dive into what consistency truly means, exploring why it's so vital for English learners like you. And most importantly, we'll equip you with
That's a perfect illustration. Or think about caring for a plant. Watering it sporadically only when you remember, or maybe when it looks wilted, yields pretty poor results. But a little water every day fosters steady, healthy growth. Consistency in learning is kind of like that daily, sustained nourishment for your brain. It allows it to flourish. It's about making a small effort, but making it regularly, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, rather than burning out with a massive, infrequent effort.
So the core message here is really about those tiny daily investments rather than massive infrequent ones. That really resonates. And the impact on our brain.
Yeah.
You mentioned that when we do something consistently, it starts to get more efficient, doesn't it?
Exactly. When you engage in regular practice, your brain actually gets better at whatever you're doing. It literally begins to form and reinforce new neural pathways. So, in essence, consistency transforms effort into habit, making the process smoother and the results much more enduring.
Okay. This brings us to a crucial question then. Why does this unwavering dedication matter so profoundly for your English learning journey?
You just can't construct a robust structure in a single day, right? Each day you commit to practice, you're laying another brick. Each word, each phrase, each grammatical structure is another piece of the foundation and walls.
And those daily bricks are so crucial for memory. My personal struggle has always been remembering new vocabulary. Our sources explain that consistent, regular practice helps your brain embed new words and rules more deeply. If you only study, say, once a week, it's a constant battle against forgetting. That daily touch point keeps your English skills fresh, much like how a daily stretch keeps your body limber.
Right. And that consistent reinforcement also gently guides your expectations. A lot of learners get frustrated when they don't achieve fluency in a few months. This often leads to burnout and, well, quitting. Consistency helps manage that by fostering patience. You will see progress with daily effort, even if it feels slow initially. It's about appreciating the small daily wins that add up over time.
Yeah. It also has a remarkable effect on confidence, I think. When you practice often, you just naturally become more comfortable speaking and listening. Plus, those small daily practices can morph into positive habits. Maybe it's listening to an English podcast during your morning commute, or reading a short article before bed. And seeing that visible incremental improvement really fuels motivation, making the entire learning process far more enjoyable.
Absolutely. So, to kind of pull these threads together, consistency is foundational because it solidifies memory, it builds skills incrementally, boosts confidence, sustains motivation, and forms those invaluable learning habits. It's basically the engine of progress.
Okay, but let's be real. We've all been there. Starting a new goal with this huge burst of enthusiasm, only to watch that energy just fizzle out a few weeks later. So, if consistency is so critical, why do so many of us still struggle? Our sources point to some common pitfalls that trip up even the most enthusiastic learners.
Yeah, one major misstep, which is clearly highlighted, is starting strong but stopping suddenly. People often attack learning with this, like, unsustainable intensity. It's like running a marathon but sprinting the first mile. This breaks the emerging habit and makes it incredibly difficult to regain that momentum.
Oh, I can certainly relate to that initial burst of energy being deceptive. Another common pitfall is expecting instant fluency. I remember trying to learn Spanish years ago, thinking I'd be conversational in like a month. When it didn't happen, the disappointment was just crushing. Our sources are very clear on this. Learning a language takes time. It's not magic. You really need that long-term view.
That's so true. And a key insight from the research is that many also lack a clear, predefined plan. They study when they feel like it, without a routine, without a designated time or a specific goal. It's just too easy for practice to fall by the wayside. Even a simple, non-negotiable schedule like 10 minutes every morning can be a total game changer.
And I've definitely been guilty of trying to tackle too much at once, trying to cram grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation all in one day. It can be incredibly overwhelming. It seems far more effective to focus on just one or two manageable things at a time. Small, focused practice builds confidence and, crucially, makes consistency actually achievable.
Exactly. This really underscores the crucial reminder from our sources that consistency is a journey, not a race. It's about showing up consistently, day after day, even when the individual steps feel really minor.
Okay, so we understand what consistency is, why it's so powerful, and the common traps to avoid. Now, for the really crucial part, how can you, our listener, actually cultivate these consistent habits? What are the practical, everyday ways to make this work?
Well, the primary takeaway, the biggest one from our sources, is to start small. Seriously. Forget the idea of needing to study for hours. Instead, aim for a tiny, easily achievable goal, like practicing for 10 minutes every day. This feels completely doable, right? And it helps you build a habit without feeling overwhelmed. Our research confirms that 10 minutes daily is far more effective for brain retention than, say, 2 hours just once a week.
That concept really flips our traditional understanding of effort on its head, doesn't it? And when you commit to that 10 minutes, the next step seems to be creating a routine. Trying to practice English at the same time every day, maybe listening to a podcast during breakfast or reading a few sentences before bed, it embeds it into your existing life. It's about making it a natural, expected part of your day, not some extra chore you have to squeeze in.
Yeah, exactly. Another powerful strategy is to diversify your learning methods. This keeps things engaging and prevents monotony. You can listen to English podcasts or songs, watch short videos, maybe with subtitles, read simple stories or news articles.
Or, yeah, even talk to yourself. I love that idea for practicing speaking when you're alone.
Absolutely. Variety keeps learning fresh and ensures you're developing different skills. And don't forget setting small, concrete weekly goals. Something like learn 5 new words this week or use one new grammar rule in my sentences.
Mm-hmm.
These micro goals provide clear focus and a regular sense of achievement.
You know, a powerful revelation for me from our sources was the impact of tracking your progress. Simply using a notebook or an app to jot down what you learn each day allows you to actually visualize your journey. Seeing how far you've come is an incredibly potent motivator.
It really is. And for many people, accountability is a huge driver. Finding an English partner or joining a study group can keep you on track and make learning more interactive. But if you don't have a partner, remember, you can practice alone. Describe your day in English or role-play common conversations. It might feel a bit awkward initially, sure, but it's remarkably effective. And always remember, mistakes are a natural part of learning. They really are.
Absolutely. Which brings us to perhaps the most important dimension, practicing self-compassion. There will be days you miss. That's just part of the human experience. The key is don't give up. Just start again the next day. Consistency really means returning to your practice even after a lapse.
That's the core of it. So to quickly recap those actionable tips,
Yeah.
start tiny. Think 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Establish a daily routine. Mix up your learning methods. Set achievable weekly goals. Track your journey. Find an accountability partner or practice solo. And always be patient and kind to yourself. These really are the building blocks.
Okay, now let's delve a little deeper into the why. Why does this consistent effort make such a difference at a neurological level? Why does your brain respond so powerfully to regularity?
Ah, yes, the science bit. It's fascinating, really. It comes down to how our brains are wired, specifically the connections between nerve cells, or neurons. When you practice English regularly, you're essentially strengthening the connections related to that skill. Think of it like creating a path through a forest. The first time, it's hard work. But the more you walk that same path, the clearer and easier it becomes. Your brain is literally building a pathway for English.
That's a great analogy, building a path.
Yeah.
And this connects to neuroplasticity, right? That idea that our brains can actually change.
Exactly. Neuroplasticity is the brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself, to change and grow throughout our lives. When you practice English consistently, you're actively encouraging your brain to rewire itself, to optimize those pathways for understanding and using the language more effectively. It's not static, it's constantly adapting based on your input.
So it's not just forming a path, but making that path a well-worn high-speed lane for information. That makes it much clearer. And this leads directly into habit formation, doesn't it? Making those actions feel almost automatic, less effortful over time.
Absolutely. Consistent practice helps your brain form habits by creating what neuroscientists sometimes call a neurological loop. There's usually a cue, a routine your English practice, and then a reward, maybe the feeling of accomplishment or understanding something new. When English practice becomes a habit, you don't have to consciously decide to do it every single time. It becomes more of an automatic response to your chosen cue, maybe your morning coffee or your commute. This frees up so much mental energy, making speaking, listening, or reading English feel less like a chore and more like a natural part of your day.
Wow, that makes so much sense. The profound impact of consistency is really about training your brain to make learning eventually feel effortless and automatic. It's incredibly empowering to know our brains are so adaptable, really.
It truly is, and that's the most empowering conclusion here. Your brain can continue to grow, change, and learn new things at any age. Provided you engage in that consistent, regular practice, it's never too late.
Okay, to truly bring this concept to life, let's explore some inspiring real stories. Examples of people who saw incredible progress simply because they stayed consistent, even with just a little bit of effort each day.
Yeah, I know many learners who really embody this. Take Maria, for example. She started learning English in her 30s, and initially she found pronunciation and grammar incredibly challenging, really struggled. Her chosen consistent action. Every single morning for exactly 10 minutes, she listened to an English podcast and repeated new words and phrases out loud. That was it.
Just 10 minutes. That's such a focused, manageable habit. And what was the outcome? What happened with that seemingly small daily effort?
Well, after just a few months, Maria noticed a really dramatic improvement in her listening comprehension. She could understand much more. And perhaps more importantly, she started speaking with much greater confidence at work. She didn't give up, even when progress felt slow at the start. Her daily, consistent practice just steadily chipped away at her challenges, fundamentally changing her language abilities over time.
That's genuinely inspiring.
Yeah.
And I remember reading about Ahmed. He desperately wanted to learn English to qualify for his dream job, but his schedule was absolutely packed. So he committed to just 15 minutes every single day. He used his lunch break to read news articles and watch short videos with subtitles.
15 minutes, see. Ahmed's consistent daily efforts, however brief they seemed, allowed him to build his skills step by step, and the result. Within about a year, he not only passed a crucial English exam, but also landed that dream job he was aiming for. These stories just powerfully illustrate that it's not necessarily about how much time you dedicate, but how often you commit to practicing.
And here's kind of an intriguing example. I have a friend who significantly improved her fluency just by talking to herself in English every day. She would narrate her day, like, okay, now I'm making coffee. She'd pretend to have conversations, practice new phrases she'd learned, and even record her voice sometimes to pinpoint areas for improvement. It sounds a bit quirky, maybe.
It does sound a little quirky, but it's a testament to consistent self-practice, isn't it? All these stories, they share the same powerful underlying message. Consistency often outpaces raw talent because it builds robust habits and ensures you keep moving forward, even when talent takes a day off.
It really is all about that sustained effort and persistence, isn't it? But let's be honest, even with the best intentions, some days staying consistent can feel incredibly hard. How do we push through when we feel tired or discouraged or just simply not motivated?
That's a vital question because motivation does fluctuate. One really effective strategy our sources mention is to remember your why. Keep your initial goals and aspirations firmly in mind, whether it's wanting to travel confidently, secure that better job, or just enjoy movies without subtitles. Recalling those deeper motivations can often reignite your drive when it starts to fade.
Absolutely. Reminding yourself why you started.
Yeah.
And it's also so important to celebrate small wins, I think. If you managed to learn 5 new words this week or successfully had even a short conversation in English, that's a real success. Acknowledging and maybe even rewarding yourself for your incremental progress feels good and provides the necessary fuel to keep going.
Definitely. Also, try to make learning enjoyable. Our sources strongly suggest trying to make learning fun. Choose English materials on topics you genuinely enjoy. Maybe it's sports, music, cooking, technology, whatever interests you. When you're absorbed in something you love, consistency feels far less like a chore and much more like, well, fun.
And we really can't emphasize this enough. Practice self-compassion. We all have off days. Life gets in the way sometimes. If you miss a practice day, please don't let it derail you completely. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just simply start again tomorrow. The goal isn't perfection, it's persistence. Getting back on track is key.
Right. And this highlights a critical distinction. While motivation can fluctuate wildly, some days you feel it, some days you don't, habits provide a stable foundation. So even on days when you genuinely don't feel motivated, a well-established habit can gently nudge you into action anyway, ensuring continued progress. Ultimately, remember that consistency isn't about perfection. It's about consistent effort and unwavering persistence.
That's incredibly liberating advice, I think, for staying motivated. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's quickly distill some simple daily actions you can integrate into your life starting today to make English a consistent companion.
Okay, first, aim to use English in small ways every single day. Maybe write just one short sentence about your day in a journal, or mentally review your to-do list in English while you're brushing your teeth. Small integrations. Second, make listening a regular habit. Even just a few minutes of podcasts, music, or short videos really helps your brain naturally attune to the rhythm and sounds of the language.
Yeah, don't shy away from speaking out loud, even if you're alone. Practice new words or phrases. Let your mouth and brain get comfortable producing English sounds. And crucially, consistently review what you've learned. Simple repetition, revisiting past material, dramatically improves retention. Don't just learn and forget.
It's really about weaving English, just one small thread at a time, into the rich tapestry of your everyday life until it becomes an almost effortless, integral part of who you are and how you operate.
So, reflecting on everything we've discussed today, here's a thought for you. What small, consistent action will you commit to taking today to propel your English learning journey forward? And maybe, just maybe, what exciting new possibilities might that single, consistent action unlock for you in the coming year? We're truly excited to see what you achieve.